Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I thought today we would have a look at the Strasbourg. This is the new event battleship which is coming in for the Raider Hunter event, which starts on the 27th of February, so in a few days. They have added this to the files, so it's not available in the game yet, but you can get access to it through a user hangar or through other means. And yeah, in this video, we'll see what it is about and also have a look at some of its more interesting parts. So the Strasbourg is a Dunkirk class battleship. We already have one of them in the game, the Dunkirk itself. So if you want to get to the high echelons of French naval, you can actually play this event and get something which is pretty much equal to the vehicle which is already in. So the cool thing about this battleship is the way that its guns are set up and also the additional armor that it gets access to. The Dunkirk class have these quad turrets on the front, and then they have all of their other armaments on the back. So you can see here you have two mega turrets with quad 330mm cannons, and these just look awesome. And it means that since you have all of your armament on the front, you can actually angle your ship very well, meaning that you only have a very small silhouette for the enemy to hit. If you do go a little bit too straight though, obviously with the main turrets being on the front, you also have huge ammo storages on the front too. So if you are straight on, they could just kind of go through the deck and make this go boom. But the idea is so you can make your silhouette as small as possible, which is what you can do with this. In order to protect those turrets and also the ammo stowage, the turrets have 340mm of rolled cemented armor on the ammo elevator area, 360 on the front of the turrets, and then 260mm in front of the ammunition. On the sides, you can see that actually increases to 283, so it does have quite a nice belt, and then 30mm and 40mm down below with a 141mm belt as well. So even if you do get hit in the side, you do have a little bit of armor, but the guns that this thing is going to be facing should be able to pierce it quite easily. So that isn't exactly great. Also, the bridge area does have 270mm of armor, so at least there's that too. Now, talking about the secondary armaments, they're all on the booty. So starting around here, you do have some 130mm guns. You have some quad sets right on the back. And then also you have some dual sets, which are a little bit further ahead. You also have 4 dual mounts of 37mm and 8 quad mounts of 13.2s. So you can see the 13.2s here, and then also the 37s here. These 37s are kind of interesting because they have a really weird fire rate, 23 rounds per minute. So they're not as automatic as a lot of other ones. And also the 13.2s are just standard Hotchkisses. So from a kind of AA point of view, this thing does not have a lot. Like it really isn't something that's going to be able to survive. It also has some 13.2 Brownings around the place too, but at least its secondary armament with these 130mm are quite nice. There's quite a lot of them. The only issue I would say that this machine is going to have is, of course, the angle of being able to get them all on target. If you're shooting at aircraft, then it doesn't really matter too much, but against stuff which is on the sea, which mostly you're going to be engaging the 130s with, you can only get the majority of them on and not all of them, which kind of sucks. So the front area is more designed to get all of the guns on target, whereas the back area, you won't be able to. And that just isn't exactly the best. There is a little bit of armor back here as well. You have kind of the standard belt and then some armor around the ammo elevators for the 130s. A lot more armor around the secondary turrets than most vehicles have, which is kind of nice. And then also you have 100mm back here too, which is around, of course, the steering gear and the propeller shafts mainly. So with the huge amount of ammo in the front, you also have in the central area the engines and the transmissions, plus the fire control room, which also has a bed of ammo. You also have all of the ammo for the 130mm. So this also can explode quite nicely. And you have 2 layers of these kind of fuel tanks, which look pretty cool. Only one singular funnel where 3 big smokestacks go into. So that's one way of identifying this vehicle. And you can see the, the fire director on the top. It actually has 3 fire directors on top of each other. So you have this one, and then this one, which is just amazing. You also have a bunch of other fire directors that are set around the place. Once you get the modifications on this thing, the fire directors will be more accurate, which is quite nice. And you can see the little 13.2mm over here, plus the 13.2 Brownings, which are sat on the front here, along with the 37s. So just a little bit of additional stuff. It is kind of cool that the fire control room is quite low, but generally you're going to be shooting this front area anyway. So if you pen through there and pierce it, you're obviously going to do quite a lot of damage. So these 330mm guns, what do they have access to? So, since this is an event vehicle and not a premium, you will have to stock grind it. You do have the marker distinction that will give you access to some modifications, which is quite nice, but mostly you'll just have stock grinded. It starts off with a HE with the Melanite explosive in it, 66 kilos of TNT equivalent, which is super nice, but only 70mm of penetration. Then you get an SAPC BC shell with 18 kilo TNT equivalent of Melanite 8020, and also 540mm of penetration at 0. This should go through most targets that you're going to face, but there will actually be some which you will struggle with at range. It's definitely not one of the highest penetrating rounds that is around. With the 130s, you get access to the HE, the SAP BC, and also the HETF, so technically they can be used as anti-air, and I think since this thing has a super limited amount of anti-air capability, that's probably what people are going to use. It also does get access to a hydroplane. You might have seen it back here, but it does get access to that, which is really cool. And also, at the same time, it gets all of the other kind of standard things that you would find from this type of machine. Reload rate on these 330s is 1.5 rounds per minute, so it's not something that's going to happen for a very long time. Obviously, crew skills can help stuff like this. Highly recommend getting good crew skills at high turn naval. Otherwise, you're going to be sat around not really doing anything for a while. The targeting speed as well isn't the best, but with a reload like that, you don't need it to be. Because it's going to take you a while to do it. Another thing that you can also get in this event is a cool loading screen, which they're bringing in. And also, this vehicle will have access to a unique camouflage. But there are some other camouflages that turn up as well, which look really nice too, which are very similar, if not the same, as all of the other ones that you can get for France. So the Strasbourg coming in, you know, it's got a little bit of an additional armor compared to the Dunkirk. It's got the same kind of like general loadout as it, which is kind of fun. And generally, I would say, you know, this vehicle is going to have a pretty... I think in general, this vehicle should have access to stuff that people like. You know, it has the weird configuration on the front. It isn't kind of a vehicle which is going to put anybody out in terms of the fact that you won't, if you miss it, you know, you still have the Dunkirk that you can get in the future. You do also get this wonderful vehicle, which looks very similar to the MBR2, but it isn't the MBR2. It does get bombs as well, so you can kind of use that with it. But overall, what you're getting out of this is something which I generally feel like would be completely fine in dealing with pretty much anything that's around. You know, I would like the armor penetration to be a little bit better. I would like it to also have a bit of an easier time in terms of some other factors that it has access to. You can see there, that looks kind of nice. But from at least a unique perspective, you know, it does have those really fun turrets on the front. And as we go forward, when it comes to naval, we're going to get more and more interesting vehicles. And I feel like this one is kind of a unique one in the sense of we haven't had had many of these before. So look forward to the event. Look forward to grinding this thing out in the third event of World War II, but 2025 makes more sense, and hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you have a good time with it, and hopefully you can see what I see, which is a bit of fun in Naval. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.